Hey, how's it going? My name's Julian Chiveri, and I'm working on a game that I call Laser Tag. So I'm just gonna wing this because, I had a script and everything, but sun's going down, and I want to get this done. I've got other things to do, so I'm just gonna ramble for a bit. This is an augmented reality game for the MetaQuest 3 headset. So I'm using the MetaQuest 3 headset because it's a very nice headset for the price. Meta can subsidize it because they're Meta. It has some fancy SDK features out of the box, especially for mixed reality stuff. One of the most important is shared spatial anchors, which lets you calibrate the spatial orientations and positions of all the headsets together so that people's virtual positions line up with their physical positions. Another really nice thing is depth estimation. Now, normally out of the box, you would just use depth estimation to occlude virtual objects that are behind physical objects so that they appear more anchored visually in the scene. I'm actually doing something interesting where I'm using it for gameplay as well, though, and I haven't really seen any other apps for the MetaQuest do this yet. You see, normally when you're building a mixed reality app that needs to know the shape of the physical space around you, you would rely on what's called room setup, which is a setup that runs before the app launches, where you walk around and you spend several minutes scanning your room. Now, this gives you a nice full mesh of the room, but there are some issues with it. First, it's a pain to set up, and if you're building a multiplayer game, you have to have all of the people spend several minutes each setting up the room, and the depth projectors might interfere with them, so they can't necessarily scan the room at the same time. The other issue is that the mesh that you get back is static. So if anything moves, it's not taken into account. If a piece of furniture moves, or if a person walks through the area that's scanned, that's not going to be represented by the mesh updating. It's just going to stay the same. So instead of relying on the mesh, I'm instead using depth estimation to test collisions with bullets, so that bullets will hit real objects. And the great thing about this is you skip all of the slow setup process that comes with scanning your room, and if things move around, that's no problem. Now, there are also some disadvantages with this. First of all, if the headset can't see something, it doesn't know it's there. But this isn't as big of an issue as it sounds because you're normally looking at what you're shooting. I think it's a fantastic trade-off to skip that slow scanning setup process because I want to reduce the friction involved in setting up a match with your friends. You know, there's already a ton of setup that has to go into this. You have to coordinate a place to meet in person. You have to make sure all of the headsets and all of the controllers are charged. You have to make sure that you're going to a place that has a decent Wi-Fi connection. So if I can reduce the number of steps that it takes to, just start shooting your friends, I think people are going to be more likely to actually play this. I want laser tag to feel less like a video game and almost like playing casual tennis with your friends. It's kind of already like a casual sport like volleyball or tennis. You have to go schedule a place to meet with your friends in person. You have to find a spot, maybe like a court or a gymnasium, because you need a lot of space in order to play this. And you're meant to run around. You're meant to feel tired at the end of a match. Now, I'm not building a fitness app. That's not the goal. I just want to make a fun experience. But if you're moving while you're having fun, that's a nice bonus. Now, here's the other thing. I'm not claiming that this is more fun than traditional paintball or airsoft or even traditional laser tag. This is very much a proof of concept. It's very rough around the edges. The clips that I showed you before and the clips that I'm showing you now they're cherry picked. One of the biggest issues when testing is the headset's losing tracking. And these are very good room scale headsets, but they are not good arena scale headsets. They're not designed to move long distances. They're not designed to track where you are as you're running around and shaking your head everywhere. These are worst case scenarios for these headsets. And despite the issues with losing tracking and not being able to spatially orient again correctly, these headsets are doing more than what they promise. And I think they're doing a better job than you might expect. So this is a very forward-looking game. It's not meant to be something, I'm not trying to market this. Nobody's going to buy this thing. You need to spend minimum $1,000 on VR hardware for just 2 people to be able to play it. It's not a very practical game. But it is a very interesting look at what augmented reality games might look like in the future when things become a little more robust, when the headsets become more convenient to set up. As opposed to the Meta Quest, the Vision Pro can already do live scene meshing and understanding. But that thing is 7 times the price, and it also feels twice as heavy on your face. But we really are on the cusp of some really engaging augmented reality experiences, I think, and I want to be at the bleeding edge because it's very cool. It's a lot of fun. So I think that's enough rambling from me for now. I'm glad that the gameplay footage was engaging enough for you to stay distracted until the end. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week in a hopefully more structured devlog number 2. I'll see ya.